What's going on? Welcome to another edition of the Blazin Sports Report. I'm your host, Larry Jenkins. Again, with me this week, I have my guest, Andrew Vandergriff, and I have Josh Bryan right here. Today, we're going to be discussing NFL, the upcoming week. There's a lot of big changes that's went around. The trade deadline just passed, and there has been some pretty significant moves going on. One move we had, the first one, of course, was Brandon Lloyd getting traded to the Rams. Now, as we all know, Tebow starts this week for the Denver Broncos against the Miami Dolphins. Now, let me go to you, Josh, on this one. Now, Brandon Lloyd was the go-to receiver down in Denver, and everyone knows that that would have been Tebow's #1 target. Now, with him going to the St. Louis Rams, how do you think that's going to affect Tim Tebow in his start against the Miami Dolphins?
In my opinion, it's like a high-risk, high-reward kind of thing. Either it's going to really help him a lot, or it's going to cripple him right out the gate. Brandon Lloyd was their best receiver. He made spectacular catches. You saw at the end of the San Diego game, he caught that ball one hand, brought it down, gave him a chance to win. But it was rumors going around saying that Brandon Lloyd was more of a Cal Orton guy. He wanted Cal Orton to be in charge. And you can't really have your #1 receiver kind of like backing a different quarterback, not the starting one. But they do have a lot of weapons, and they're going to start running it more. So I think they have a chance to be kind of better without him.
Okay. Now, another quarterback who's making his first start. Well, this won't be Tebow's first start, but Tebow's no longer a rookie. We have a rookie that's coming in this week, and Carson Palmer, who's taking over the helm of the Minnesota Vikings. Donovan McNabb has been benched, who's had a pretty underwhelming season so far. But Carson Palmer, he looked good coming in at the end of the Bears game. He looked pretty sharp back there. Now, I'm coming to you, Andrew, because they are playing your team in the Green Bay Packers, who is by far the #1 team in the NFL, in my opinion. What do you think Carson Palmer should look out for going up against this great Packers team?
He's got to watch the defense, because the thing about the Packers defense, Dom Capers is brilliant. He's got everyone pretty much can play almost any position. They're always doing something you're not going to expect. Have them all over the place makes it a very hard defense to read. So he's got to be able to play under pressure. If they get that pressure on him, I think he's going to crumble.
Now, I've seen Carson Palmer down in Florida State, and the knock against him was he wasn't as durable. He wasn't. He didn't have the deep ball threat, but he was always accurate. I think that Carson Palmer coming into this week, like you said, he's going to have to be aware of that Packers defense. For the simple fact, you never know what you're going to get with the Packers. They could send the linebackers in on the blitz, and then have all the D linemen drop back in coverage. You never know what you're going to get. The corners are always coming in for blitzes. I mean,
watch that Clay Matthews.
Yeah, Clay Matthews, of course, is a beast. AJ Hawk is a beast. It's going to be a very, very interesting game to watch to see how Carson Palmer adapts to such a great defense. One of the other big news that happened was Carson Palmer getting traded to the Oakland Raiders. Now, as we all know, Carson Palmer said he'd rather retire than play another game in a Cincinnati uniform. Well, he was basically in semi-retirement mode. Basically, he was just sitting on the bench not getting any money. Well, he wasn't even on the bench. He was just sitting at home. Now, we all know the quarterback position is the most important position in all of football. Now, knowing that Carson Palmer hasn't played a game, hasn't been in any camps, do you think his work ethic outside of the game will actually affect him coming into his first start? Who did they play? They played the Chiefs, and we all know the Chiefs aren't doing as good as they were last year. But a quarterback coming in and learning a new system, hasn't had any reps. He has just this week to get the kinks out. Because, in my opinion, I would have waited until the following week, because next week they're on a bye to give him some time to learn the system. But how do you think that's going to affect Carson Palmer coming into this game?
Well, they all have been preparing for it. I mean, he should be training regardless. He should be ready for it no matter what. If you're in the NFL, you got to be ready all times to play. That's how I feel. So he should be at his level. If he's not at his level, then that's just on him. That's his own fault. You better get back in there and put in that work.
Okay, now Josh, with Carson Palmer, like I said, he hasn't played anything. He's just been sitting around. I mean, I'm pretty sure he hasn't been getting paid because everybody knows in the NFL you don't play, you don't get paid. Now, do you think this would be a chance for him to actually learn the system against the Chiefs team, like I said, that wasn't very good? Or do you think this would be a more of a breakout game that's even better than what he's had before in Darren McFadden? Because we all know Darren McFadden is the key component to this Raiders offense.
I don't think this would be a good game for him. He's coming off of pretty much no activity whatsoever. He's jumping in. The Chiefs, they're not as good as they were last year, but they're still pretty good. Well, not as good as the Raiders or the Chargers, but they're still pretty good. I don't think, like, with him not doing anything whatsoever, just sitting at home waiting to get traded, he's going to come in to that game and just be, I think, flat out horrible.
Okay, well, I don't personally think he's going to be flat out horrible. I think we will see the rust. We will see the inconsistencies. We will see the lack of preparation for such a game because we all know NFL is high intensity, high impact. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. We haven't heard anything about his workout, so we don't know. But I've highlighted the 4 key games, I think, this week in terms of what's going to happen in the NFL. First game I have is Atlanta Falcons versus the Detroit Lions. Now, we know the Lions are coming off their first loss against the San Francisco 49ers. Still a close game, but it came down to defense, essentially, and the defense of the 49ers stood out. I think this being Detroit at home against a Falcons team that has been up and down. I mean, the Falcons are 3-3. I'm going to go ahead and, even though the Lions lost at home last week, like I said, it was still a close game. The Niners does have a good defense, so I can give them that. I can give them the advantage to that. But the Lions still have Matthew Stafford. They still have Calvin Johnson. Javi Best is still a speedy back, and that defensive line is still great. Matt Ryan's been under pressure all year long, and Roddy White hasn't stepped up like he did last year. He hasn't been as productive. Julio Jones, we still don't know his status for Sunday yet. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Lions to win this one. Who do you have winning this game?
I was feeling the exact same way. I'd have to go with the Lions. I mean, they've still got their top level right now. 49ers just had that defense that you just cannot get through them. You just can't. They're too overwhelming. And I still have to give it to the Detroit Lions. I feel like they're going to be hungry after that loss. Lions looking to tear that stuff up.
Okay, who do you have?
I have the Detroit Lions too, but here's my concern. They couldn't stop Frank Gore. Frank Gore ran wild on them. Yeah. Michael Turner can do the exact same thing. If they cannot stop that run, they're going to be in for a long night.
Okay. The other game that I have highlighted here is the Denver Broncos taking on the Miami Dolphins. We know this will be Tebow's start against the still winless Miami Dolphins team. The defense has not been there. They're basically bringing in the quarterback and Matt Moore, who didn't show pretty much any promise last week. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos. I don't think Tebow will have that great of a game, but at the same time, this will still be a filling out process for the Denver Broncos, knowing that he doesn't have Brandon Lloyd to throw the ball to. It's been an alternation between Noshawn Moreno and Willis McGahee in and out all season. The defense has been subpar at best, but even though Miami's at home, Tebow is used to that Florida weather. I mean, Miami has been inconsistent all year. Brandon Marshall is still dropping balls. It's not looking good in Miami. This will be more of a learning game, I think, for the Denver Broncos and Tim Tebow. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Denver Broncos to win, I'm going to say by 2 touchdowns. I don't think it'll be that much of a closely competitive game. Like, the numbers may be close, but I think on the field it'll tell a different story. Who do you got winning this game?
I got Denver winning this, and I think Tim Tebow is going to be the main reason why. He knows that everyone is going to be watching every single thing he does. If he ties his shoes wrong, they're going to analyze it on SportsCenter. He's going to want to prove some people wrong. He thrives on proving people wrong, and this is where he starts.
Okay. And what do you see this one?
I'm guessing we're all 2 for 2 here. I have to go with the Denver Broncos. I think now Tebow is starting, just like the Lions, he's going to be hungry. He's going to be looking to show himself off, maybe make a statement here. I guess not really saying too much against the Miami Dolphins. Seeing as how they've gone through 2 quarterbacks, and definitely not seeing any real consistency going on with anything other than the fact that they suck. But yeah, I'd have to go pick the Broncos.
Okay, another game we have here is San Diego Chargers taking on the New York Jets. Now, we know the Jets were on a 3-game slide. They came in, they beat Miami, but that's, like we said before, not really saying much. And they didn't beat them convincingly either. I mean, their defense won the game for them with Darrell Reeves taking 1 interception back for a touchdown. He picked off Matt Moore again. The Jets still have some things to figure out. There haven't been any real breakthroughs on this team. I mean, we all know that Mark Sanchez is pretty much the key to what happens with that team. But Mark Sanchez has not been the quarterback that you want to say, and like we said, you can't really take much away from that performance against the Dolphins. The Chargers, on the other hand, have been lights out on offense like we all expected. Phillip Rivers is still beasting out there. Granted that this game is in New York, I'm going to still give the edge to San Diego to win this one because there's still too many inconsistencies that lie within the New York Jets to get it done. Granted, maybe winning against the Dolphins, I still can't give them much credibility on the win over a depleted Dolphins team. Who do you got winning this one?
The Jets defense hasn't been. Jets defense has been the only thing that keeps them apart from everyone else, I would say. I mean, it's strong, but it doesn't make up for their offense. Dirty Sanchez just throwing too many picks, just not showing anything real significant to put them up with Phillip Rivers, I don't think. And San Diego's, they seems to have a pretty well-balanced defense and offense going on. So I have to give edge to San Diego. Phillip Rivers has been still beast.
Okay, now who do you have in this one?
Chargers all day. The only good thing about the Jets right now is their secondary. They can't stop the run. They can't run it. And it seems like they can't pass it because of Mark Sanchez and his white pants. But even though Phillip Rivers hasn't been as great as he's been in the past, he's still doing enough to get his team to win. And pretty much they're the second best team in the AFC right now.
Okay. All right, the last game that I have on tap is going to basically be a division rivalry game. It's been budding over the past couple of years. One team's coming off a bye, but they've looked pretty good comparing what they have been doing. And one team was expected to run away with the division, with the Colts being out. This game is between the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans. Now, me personally, I don't feel that the Houston Texans have been living up to the bill that everyone has always thrown on them. It seems every year we say that this will be the Texans' year. Granted, they didn't have Arian Foster at the beginning of the season, but Ben Tate did show up. He did give him pretty good production while he was out. They just lost Andre Johnson, who's saying his hamstring might keep him out for the next 6 weeks, so that takes away a big part of their offense. That means they have to rely on secondary receiver Kevin Walter to be their go-to guy. The Titans, they lost Kenny Britt for the season, but Matt Hasselbeck has shown that he still can produce as a quarterback. But their last game against the Steelers just absolutely outclassed the Titans in every single way, shape, and form on the football field. Chris Johnson still hasn't got it going yet. He got his extension, but he missed all the training camp. He didn't participate in anything that the team did. He held out until he got more money. He got his money, but now he's not showing anything. What I feel this game will come down to is basically that Titans defense going up against that Houston offense. Because Tennessee on the offensive side of the ball hasn't looked as impressive as one team would like to be. But their defense is still pretty good. They have a pretty good secondary. Cortland Finnegan is still one of the best corners in the league. But at the same time, they're still an up-and-down team. Whereas Houston, you still have the explosive offense. You still have Matt Shaw back there throwing the ball, who can still get the ball to any receiver. They have a tight end, I believe it's Dreesen is his name. He's the one that's stepping up for them. And also you have Arian Foster, who seems to be on the right path, getting back to where he once was. when it comes down, this is really a toss-up game, but seeing as Houston has been the team, they have a more consistent balance with the run game and the passing game, I'm going to go ahead and give the edge to the Houston Texans on this one. Who do you have in this game?
I have the Tennessee Titans, not because they're a better team, but because it seems like Houston isn't responding properly to the expectations for them this season. With Peyton Manning out for the Colts, they were expected to pretty much run away with this division. They're tied with the Titans right now for first.
That's the sad part, and we got to realize both of these teams are 3-3. One of these teams may end up being like the NFC West last year when we had a 500 team go to the playoffs and get a home field advantage just because they were division winner. Because the other two teams in their division, in Indianapolis and Jacksonville, we pretty much know that they're not going to go anywhere. But who do you see winning this one? And a better question would be, would the winner of this game pretty much determine who wins the division? You got to remember, they still have to play each other one more time. But do you see this one as shaping up to see who's going to pretty much take the division?
I see this one mostly as a toss-up. I mean, the only thing the Houston's really got is their offense over Tennessee Titans. I mean, I feel like the Houston will pull it out, though, just because Titans, they just don't seem to be able to get anywhere with their offense. And I think that Houston will be able to read them. I think they'll be able to read it enough to put the stop on them. Arian Foster seems like you were saying he's on the right path to getting some great runs out there.
And I think that's going to probably be another determining factor. Can Chris Johnson can he have a breakout game?
If he has a breakout game, I do see it being a bit more. It wouldn't be a toss-up anymore because he can pull out some amazing things we've seen. But I guess to see who's going to win the division, I don't really know because it's so much of a toss-up right now that I couldn't really say.
Yeah, like you said, it's 2 3-3 teams coming in. They're both standing at the top of their division right now. This will probably be like the measuring stick, I would say, to see who's going to actually come out with just the division title. But like I said, that will be a toss-up game. I honestly think that Houston can use this game to find some means to get something rolling. They could use this to build their defense back up to a point where it can be competitive.
Finally get some stability in there.
Well, that has been my Week 6 preview, a Week 7 preview, I should say. It should be a good, interesting week this week with 3 quarterbacks coming in, one who's been sitting on his behind, one that everyone has been waiting to see. And also, I anticipate the Miami game will be a sellout, and we will see more blue and orange, and we will see green and orange in those stands, considering the fact that Tebow is coming to town. I'm pretty sure all of Gainesville is already in Miami right now. All of Jacksonville is probably in Miami right now, waiting on the arrival of Tim Tebow. And that's going to dominate the headlines. I'm pretty sure that's probably be the #1 highlight that they have broadcast on ESPN after the week is out, is Tim Tebow's first start.
Even if he does blow it.
Yeah, even if he does blow it, because you know the expectations of Tebow has been really high.
I feel sorry for him if he does blow it. I really do.
They're going to dissect this game in so many different ways. It's just going to be ridiculous. I mean, granted, it is against the Dolphins. They're still going to dissect it because there's so much expectations in this game. The fans have wanted it. At the beginning of the season, there was a toss-up. Will it be Orton? Will it be Tebow? We just don't know. And now we finally have the answer. I feel bad for Cal Orton because he's still going to be sitting on the bench. But at the same time, if Tebow does struggle, they also know that they can go back to Cal Orton. But the thing is, will he still be motivated to play? That's a whole nother option right there.
Or they can just suck for luck.
That ain't gonna happen. The Andrew Luck contest is already clearly it's between Indianapolis and Miami Dolphins. Even though the Rams are winless too, they have Sam Bradford. But who knows? This is going to be a pretty interesting week. My name is Larry Jenkins, Andrew Vandergriff, Josh Bryan, signing off on the Blazin Sports Report. I'll holla.